haze. Kids lost screaming in the system's maze. Lies unfold behind paper-thin walls, stealing hope, ripping dreams on the calls. Gunning for justice, we won't back down. Fighting for the lost in every broken town. Judges blind, caseworkers turn their eyes. Lift your fist, scream, their lies won't paralyze. Families they shatter with the stroke of a pen. Truth buried deep, oh here we go again. Gunner's voice pounding, raising up the fight. Justice ain't a whisper, it's a battle tonight. Gunning for justice, we won't back down. Fighting for the lost in every broken town. Judges blind, caseworkers turn their eyes. Lift your fist, scream, their lies won't paralyze. Families they shatter with the stroke of a pen. Truth buried deep, oh here we go again. Gunner's voice pounding, raising up the fight. Justice ain't a whisper, it's a battle tonight. System cracks, red tape wins tight, but the spirit won't break, even in the night. From the ashes, the cry gonna rise up strong. With every heartbeat, it fuels the song. Corruption crawls, spreading like a fire. But passion burns hotter, crawling up higher. The system ain't ready for the storm that's us. One by one, we're breaking their rust. Corruption crawls, spreading like a fire. But passion burns hotter, crawling up higher. The system ain't ready for the storm that's us. One by one, we're breaking their rust. Oh!
Hey look, this for every mama got her baby snatched on some bogus shit. For every pops they locked out the crib like he ain't blood. CPS, y'all been eating off pain for too long. We know what you on, but now it's war, this gunning foe, CPS. Kick doors, no warrants, they taking our seeds. Say it's neglect, but they planting they greed. Feds in they pocket, judge got a fee. Run it like a business, adoption spree. Contracts overseas, got partners in France. But shorty from Shy, he ain't get a chance. Mama work 2 jobs, daddy do right, but they still snatch his baby in the middle of the night. Fuck CPS, they ain't saving shit. Just a system full of snakes getting rich off kids. We see through the cap, we done taken the hit. Now it's Suffer Davis popping and we loaded the clip. Gunna got the case, now we in that fight. Taking this to SCOTUS, shining that light. They ruined good homes, now we flipping that script. Time to bring them back, time to empty the clip. They labeled us monsters, called us unfit, but it's they paperwork dirty, all of it forged and flipped. How the fuck they selling babies to a bidder overseas? Then tell the fam you unworthy. Man, please, we got mamas in pain, daddies in tears. They breaking our hearts, been doing it for years. Now we riding with Sworn under oath, now it's time for truth. Trump got the team and the pen in his hand. He said bring them home, now that's the plan. You feds been hiding, but it's over now. We moving like an army, and we ain't bowing down. Fuck CPS, they ain't saving shit. Just a system full of snakes getting rich off kids. We see through the cap, we done taken the hit. Now it's off of Davis popping and we loaded the clip. Gunna got the case, now we in that fight. Taking this to SCOTUS, shining that light. They ruined good homes, now we flipping that script. Time to bring them back, time to empty the clip. They ain't gods, they ain't law, they just people. Corrupt people. And when the people rise, ain't no system safe. The Chi-Town, it's the movement. We gunning for CPS, and we coming heavy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait.
Well, who are we going to piss off today? We're going to piss them off real good today. Guys, we got a great show for you. Welcome to Gunning for CPS. I'm your host, Gunner. Guys, we got a hell of a show today that's going to blow your minds, connect the dots. Yes, we've been down the rabbit holes and everything else. Man, it's just awesome. This is going to blow you guys' mind because you're going to go, wow, I didn't really think about that. But if you guys have been taking and watching our shows, keeping up with everything that we've been trying to teach you, connecting the dots and bringing them all together, this show is going to bring a lot of things together, and we're going to show you how. All those things come together as far as your constitutional rights, the judge's jurisdiction, the power of the judge that you have, and a lot of those things and stuff like that are Article 4 judges that are dealing with family courts. There's a lot of power that they take and do, or things they do that is beyond their power. They don't have the power to do this stuff. Well, guys, we got a guest tonight too, and to come out, and hopefully we'll have a second one come out in. Yeah, thanks, Chris. Chris is one of the ones that took and did that video you guys seem to love so much. It's become an intricate part of our show. But guys, tonight I want to take and introduce one of our guests tonight. Guys, I want you to welcome Amy Henry. Amy has been following us. There she is on Facebook, and she started out just as most of you guys did, that I don't know nothing. I'm in the middle of CPS and this and that, and I'm looking for answers. And just took off from there to go from just, oh my God, I'm scared and this, that, to understanding and doing what she had to do to learn how to fight. Yes. So, I mean, tell us about some of that journey a little bit, Amy.
Well, let me just start, when this happened to me, it happened to me 7 years ago. And I mean, my whole life, I thought that I'm going to prevent this. This was something that had happened in my county. All my friends had their kids taken. And I said, that's never going to be me. That's never going to be me. I was taken from my mom at 11 and put in group homes and things like that. And later on, when I had children of my own, that same juvenile officer who was in my life at 11, she kept trying to take my kids over and over and over again. I knew what little I knew just to keep them out of my house. Well, I smoked weed back then, and she did what she did. I got pulled over. She got her in, took my kids, and it was devastating. My son was 7, and he was in a mental hospital for 7 months. My daughter now forced open adoption and the end of 2021. It was devastating for me, and I felt like I had no power. So I just had to, I knew what I was doing was I had to keep eyes on my oldest daughter. I had to keep eyes on her, and it's like I had no options. I had no choices. I had no support, and things were not being talked about like they are being talked about now. There wasn't people that I was aware of, like Gunner, like everybody out here fighting. And not only that, I hadn't lost my kids. I had just lost my kids. And now where I'm at now is I realize that the power is within me. and I have to take control of my circumstances. And when this happened to me, I wanted to die. I didn't think I was going to survive it, but then I realized I'm not going to let them win. I'm going to be the mom that I've always been, and I'm going to stand up and I'm going to educate myself, because knowledge is power. And it's still scary sometimes. I don't
Yeah.
have all the answers. I have a lot of moms. It's like, Amy, help me. And it's like, I don't have all the answers, but I can help you connect with the resources within yourself
Yeah.
and with people that's out there,
Well, the misnomer too out there too is that if CPS is involved in your life, you must have done something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not true anymore, because as we've done on other shows, we've connected it out because they've incentivized and making a profit off of this, to where states and states budgets have, all the way up from, starting at like 40, the high 40 percentile or even more of your state's budget actually is dependent now on Title IV reimbursement funds.
Yeah.
Understanding that's not a direct payment, it's a reimbursement. They must spend the money and then reimburse it. And when they did that, they incentivized it. And this was under the Family Cares Act and a lot of these other things that came with Clinton and so on and so forth. But and in previous shows, we did the timeline with it. It deals with, they closed the sanitariums, that they were just breeding children, so on and so forth, and other religious organizations that were doing a lot of the same in the trafficking. And they incentivized it. They then released it and closed the sanitariums under Ronald Reagan. And they said, now just hold on the ones that you have until they kind of age out, or they all die off, if you will. And it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Your state's Department of Health and Human Resources was making tons of money off of these sanitariums. For people, and now you see even more people with mental illness now work and actually are around us. And there are terms, and like I said, psychological terms, whether you like them or not, such as words, in terms and psychological terms such as gender dysphoria. People call it transgenderism, so on and so on. It's a confusion. Now, listen, I have an authority to take and speak on this because my daughter has a friend that is an actual true hermaphrodite, a twin that absorbed a twin and actually has both genitalia.
Uh-oh. Is he
Maybe,
frozen?
Can you see me now, Amy?
Now I can. I was just about to ask the chat. Are you frozen?
Back. Okay. Listen, when we start talking about sensitive things, man, they pause us because it's like, oh, wait a minute, he's talking about things he shouldn't. Listen, I know people that have had this gender dysphoria because they were born this way and they absorb there's a medical definition on this. It's a rarity, though, for this to happen. And to say, yes, they're born with both things and they are confused on what gender they are.
Yeah.
There's no basis why I was born this way, that. No, did you absorb a twin? Why? Because then you can't have it. Now it's a mental illness issue. Wow. And he has to struggle with this. And they've had terms for this already. And whether people like it or not. And the other thing that causes this dysphoria is mass abuse. Yeah. Do you know how many people I know that first thing I ask them, especially when they are or they claim that, and I've had those conversations. Why? Because I'm open to debate. I'm open to those discussions, and I'll ask, were you raised in the system? Were you taken, and were you part of the adoption system or the foster care system? Every single time, 100% of the time, it's yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So we're causing these mental health issues by a system that says we're here to protect children, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is, and we were talking a little bit of this about the show, and I wanted to show this to our audience here. We're going to go under, now, we're talking about that Title IV funding.
Yes.
The purpose of Title IV, we're going to get into this. You guys have watched this before. And we're going to get to the juicy part. We're going to build up to it, guys. I promise. Right here. I want you to look at this, and I want you to read it. This is Title IV, Section 401. Okay? It has to align, when they receive the monies, it has to align with the purpose for that section. It says right here, no individual entitlement This part shall not be interpreted to entitle any individual or family to assistance under any state program listed under this part. In other words, you have to meet this requirement. Go and look at it yourselves. It talks about providing assistance to needy families so that children may be cared for, what? In their own homes or in the homes of relatives. We're going through a mass shortage and everything on it with Title IV and everything else that's, or not Title IV, but with the SNAP programs and everything else. Do you think CPS is going to show up with food to help provide these families this and that to keep, to make sure they kept, food in their houses and provide those things or connections? Or here's a list of food banks, or here's places you can go. Hey, you don't have a car? They're paid. Their whole purpose is to be paid to bring those services to you.
Yep.
But they don't.
Right.
Instead, they steal your kids and say, well, you can't afford them. We're going to take them. Because they make profit off of this. Listen to this. Number 2, end the dependence of needy parents on government benefits by promoting job preparation, work. And wait, what's the last one? Marriage. What? Do you mean single family homes are not supposed to be doing? No. They're supposed to be pushing you back towards healthy 2-parent home relationships. That matter of fact, we'll continue on that because that's covered under number 4.
Yeah.
Prevent and reduce the instance of out of wedlock pregnancy, single motherhood. They're supposed to be using this money to prevent that. But instead they do it because it produces what? More product. Now, Barbara Ann will tell you about that. If you guys don't know about Rebecca's Home for Girls, if you don't follow Barbara Ann that's on the show here, she'll tell you all about it. It was done through religious institutions. This is not isolated through government programs.
Absolutely.
Establish numerical for preventing and reducing the incidence of these pregnancies. Reducing single motherhood.
Yeah.
Encouragement or encouraging the formation and maintenance of two-parent families. Yeah. Guys, holy crap.
Absolutely. Shocking.
This is the purpose. Where is the marriage counseling? Hey, we're thinking about getting divorced and this, that. Hey, we want to provide you with some counseling and hopefully you guys can work things out and stay together or get you the help you need.
No, it's always about division. Like for me, like my husband was an addict. Okay. And I wanted to help him. I loved him. I was willing to leave him and him get help, but that's not what it was about. Nope. Stay away from him. He's a bad person. He's this, he's that. You're a bad person. They're just profiting off of our pain. I see Barbara Ann in the comments that says they gave me mental illness. Absolutely. Here I am 7 years later. I'm on SSDI for PTSD, I'm rising above it, but there's some of us out here who's not that lucky, who I want to get people to believe in themselves because this is terrible.
Now, let's cover that. I'm glad you covered that, because if you have a mental health disability and you are given mental health, your disability and you're on it for mental health, you know what the first thing you lose? Your Second Amendment rights to carry a weapon.
You're right. You are right about that.
Oh, yes. The ability to defend yourself against invading tyrants. It's a scam. It's a scam to disarm this country.
Yep.
And there's more to that. But I'm not going to get into
there
that.
There is.
Because, like I said, they don't like guns. They're very anti-gun organization. Every bit of it. But once again, you got to go under, hey, let me show you your purpose. Are you collecting? And this is questioning that you guys, if you guys are pro se, ask the worker, are you guys receiving Title IV reimbursement funds? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah. Are you aligned with the purpose to receive those funds? Because you do realize, and everything has to be in the form of a question, you do realize if you don't line up with the purpose, you're not supposed to be receiving those funds. Then read the purpose and put it on the record. And we have told you guys several times, it's not about what you say in court. It's about what you put on the record and what you file. Okay? File. Now, one of the big things that we were taught, now I was taught as a former business owner. I ran a multi-million dollar electrical company. that due to my health and everything else, we had to close everything down, and the shit CPS pulled, just drove away the business. I mean, just drove it away.
Yeah.
Even though these are supposed to be sealed, they don't. They run their mouth all across the county doing stuff.
Yeah.
And the one thing we learned as a business owner, and if you've done business or done a larger business, is knowing how to do this term called networking. Now, I have applied that same principle of networking to you guys in the CPS world with reaching out, and it's called replicating. Let me dump into you so you can share with others. Why? Because where
Yes.
one can only reach, if one can reach 1,000, you do that multiplication, what can 10 do? 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the replicate. This is what they hate about since we've joined the fight and what they've done, let alone we've cracked their code, especially in our case, because our appeals end showing they didn't allow cross-examination. Matter of fact, the judge, the magistrate didn't allow any cross-examination, and let alone it was under the rules of evidence, which we've told you guys, Tennessee Annotated Code 24-7-123. If you guys are in Tennessee, look that up.
Yeah.
Make sure that if you have a forensic interview in there, that whatever person has had the forensic interview, they're entering as evidence, you have the right to cross-examine. They must be there to enter the forensic interview. And I believe that's very similar for every state. Now, we're going to get into the part that's going to blow your mind.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of you have an active case, and your judge is saying, and this is something that, like I said, if you guys have followed us and this and that, especially in Kentucky, Kentucky's in some really deep shit now. The judge has ordered turn over medical records, turn over birth certificates, social security cards, this and this and this, and turn this over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is an Article 4 judge. If it's family court, this is going to blow your mind. We're going to go back. We're going to go back to the Constitution, and I'm going to point something out where the judge, if they demand these things from you, is 100% voluntary, but to make a court order out of it is actually a violation of their oath.
Yeah.
Here's why. And this is going to blow your mind. We're going to go back to the Constitution, folks. Uh-oh. Well, where'd it go? Let me turn it back on here. Fourth Amendment. Let's look here, people, and I'm going to minimize. Let's remove the comments just here for a second so you can read this. The right of the people to be secure in their what? Persons?
Mm-hmm.
People are in the house, right?
Yep.
Houses, papers. Oh, wait. See that word papers?
Yes. Yes.
That means in Article 4, judge cannot demand, nor does he have the power to tell you to produce something when you write in your complaint. Those papers that were demanded under the court order are in my home and are protected by the right of search or seizure, and a warrant is mandatory. And a warrant can only come from, remember the other shows? Remember the other shows? What does it say? A warrant has to be by a Article 3 judge with probable cause.
Yep.
Just because the judge sits up there, their power is limited. And it says right here, shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause. Not because, well, we'd like to see or we'd like to investigate. Now, it's also a violation of your Fifth Amendment. You cannot take and make me produce something you're going to use against me.
Right.
Uh-oh. So when your judge makes a court order to produce these documents, what we're going to articulate, notice I use the word we, because this is something we're going to do, which I'm not practicing law, because I'm telling you, well, this is how we play around this. I'm sorry, Your Honor, that court order are secure documents within my home. Mm-hmm. And unless you provide a warrant by an Article 3 judge with probable cause, other than the fact you need, you will not receive them. Now, This is where SEC versus Jarsky comes in. You don't have the power to interpret anything, let alone constitutional law. No state administrative law judge can interpret constitutional rights.
Right.
When you put that on the record, you just put a stake through that judge. Why? Because now you call, don't be a dick about it. Like, you know, we're going to turn around the same thing. The judge has now violated their oath with their court order, demanding something that is protected by the Fourth Amendment with no probable cause and no warrant.
Yep.
Boom, your judge is done.
Yep.
Turn them in, write it out. And this is for old cases, new cases. You can appeal, even if you have a closed case, even to the appellate court. The judge with their court orders, and you turn around and you show them, here's the court order.
Yeah.
I was ordered to turn this, and that over. There was no warrant, and those were secured in my home. And the judge did what? Abuse of power and deprivation of rights under the color of law, right then and there in the thing, which is a violation of their oath. How you articulate that in your paperwork means everything. That judge is going to go, oh shit, I don't have. And the Constitution, and you know how heavy the case law is on Fourth Amendment? I bet you Andy's looked it up.
Yep.
Huge.
It's huge. Yeah.
Is it not?
Yes. Yes.
So imagine turning around with the judge, we turn around, you're going to turn around, you're going to do this, and that. Hey, judge, thanks for violating your oath, which means now you must recuse yourself. You've committed a criminal act, which now you can report to the state attorney general's office as a felony by the judge. And you start taking out judges and magistrates left and right.
Yeah.
Because of what? Because of what they did. The judge does not have the power, and the state can't say no, because they have to then turn around. Even the appellate board would have to file a case in the federal court to answer the question. Now, you can have a court order that says produce this, produce that, but unless you have a warrant and it's in my home, you don't get in, and you can take them court orders and shove them right up your place with sun.
Yeah.
They're in here, they're secured, they're this and that, and requires a warrant, not a court order. As Herbert pointed out, what's the difference between the two? A court order is something they have the power and jurisdiction to order you to do. That is beyond their jurisdiction. You can file this under jurisdictional matters. Okay? Your Honor, you've overreached your jurisdiction. You do not have the right to tell me to produce these papers that are secured in my home. It's a violation of my Fourth Amendment. You have to have probable cause, not just because I said.
Yep.
Oh, when you start articulating your cases and your filings a certain way, it's over with. Because now the judge knows I just massively screwed up, or they get on a power trip. Well, don't fight in that court. Now, every state, and Amy and I had this conversation too, every state has a different way of your appellate court. Some can deal with your case throughout rulings or orders and this, and there's certain, and now you can file writs. Okay.
Yeah.
You can file writs on these things in the appellate court, but you have to wait till the final decision is made in some cases to file basically on the whole case. In other words, it's a thing in progress. It's a little bit of a leeway they give the courts. But when a judge is beyond their jurisdiction, judge, you don't have the right to order me to take and produce those documents. It's a violation of my Fourth Amendment rights.
Yep.
You're ordering me, and you're using your position and power. And I want you guys to fully grasp this: your position and power to intimidate me or coerce me to violate my constitutional rights of my papers that are secured in my home. Your Honor, you need a warrant for that, let alone you're not an Article 3 judge, and you can't start articulating, you know, the difference between Article 3, Article 4, Article 1, and articulate that in your filings. You got the judge, and then you file on those in judicial. Hey, that's a gross overreach. That's an abuse of power. Now that judge, you guys, and here's the thing, it's not about one filing. It's about multiple filings. This is why you guys network in your own counties.
Mm-hmm.
Like Amy, I was telling you that once before. Get people in your county that have had the same judge and this file
Yep.
these complaints. Because if a judge has one complaint on them, is one thing,
Yeah.
but they have 5 or 6 of them on there, and then somebody escalates it and then they all turn into criminal charges. Which,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, that state charges abuse of power and everything else. But oh wait, it gets even better.
Yeah.
Those are federal crimes.
Yeah.
You can file those in the Attorney General of the United States directly in Washington, D.C., that an administrative law judge has violated their oath and violated your constitutional rights. And as long as you can clearly articulate how they've done it,
Yeah.
criminal charge, that's a felony.
Yep.
There it is, guys.
Yeah, and this is how we change. This is how we change things. But if we holding these judges accountable and knowing our stuff, that is how we prove a real problem and we rebuild.
Yeah, 100%. You start filing and filing and filing. And as soon as they find out, oh, crap, this judge has got like 10, 12 complaints, and they can cite it specifically within their case. And one, you have to articulate, once again, and it's not legal advice. If you're going to use the things I'm talking about similar to what we're going to file, you have to tailor it made. You can't just copy and paste.
Right.
ChatGPT is a great guide, but it's not the end all tool.
Yeah.
And they're finding out, and they're even looking at AIs and several other things, and they have little markers that show you used AI.
Mm-hmm.
That's a guideline. Find the guideline, find a real true template. In other words, another case. You have access to these cases. Look at the format. Meet the format on a real case that's been filed by a legal attorney. Okay, somebody that does practice law and knows the format. Now, if you've got, now here's the other thing. If everybody's going along with this and nobody's filing, this is where you file on every state actor, GAL, and everything else, and call them out for not filing the same complaint you're filing on the judge, because then it becomes an ethics violation for everybody involved. Now, you start doing this in your counties and in your state and so on and so forth. They've got so many ethics violations and so much in this and that and so many complaints, they have to suspend them.
Yeah.
They have to fine them for each instance. You failed to protect. Why? Because it's under your oath. You violated your oath to protect and run to the, it even says that with that oath, they are to run to the aid of the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
They failed. When you can articulate this, guys, and this is a lot of things that I know Amy's been paying attention to, and you guys out there, and this is how we teach each other. This is what we do. And I know, Amy, you've gone through to where you've had to learn structure, right?
Yeah.
And you put in the hours, right?
Yeah.
This ain't something for the faint of heart.
No. It's not.
So put it, let me give the audience an idea. How many hours have you put in just doing?
Oh my gosh. So many. Like, I mean, every week I'm learning constantly. I have learning plans. I have to really take this stuff seriously, articulating, paying attention, not to mention, I can't just go filing things all gung ho. I'm already at a disadvantage because I'm a felon, because of the things I went through, because of what I look like on paper. That's not even real. You have to think through everything carefully. I have to double think and be completely sure before I file anything, because we are already at a disadvantage, and we got to stick together, and we have to educate ourselves, because we aren't going to be at a disadvantage forever.
And don't wait on you. If you're assigned an attorney or a court appointed attorney, this and that, you have every legal right to file.
Yes.
You can put stuff on the record. If they don't, listen, the rules are, if you give it to the court clerk, it's already considered filed.
Yeah.
You have to put a note in there. I'm going to put this in here. Or you go on the court record when you're, Your Honor, I tried to do these filings, which I have here, that your court clerk refused, which is already considered filed. You got to know your rights.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, you realize you can go pro se and you can ask for an attorney, if you will, court-appointed attorney, to sit second chair.
Yeah.
See, a lot of you, hey, to help me out with this, that. But once again, their oaths are to the bar and to the state that if you do too good, how do you think that that's going to take and go against you? This is why the system's stacked against you, let alone you're ruling in favor. Judges that are saying produce these documents for CPS or this, and that. That's a state employee. This is a conflict of interest thing we're talking now.
Yeah.
A state employee or a state organization and another state employee, that is called bias.
Yep.
That
Conflict
now the
of
judge has
interest.
got bias and conflict of interest because they're adjudicating or making court orders to benefit one side and not the other. This is why it's very important that you point these out and put that in here. You can do that. Once again, RICO Act is on the other side of both criminal and civil. You don't deal with it in that courtroom. Fight in the right courtroom. File in the right court. This is why it's so important. For example, a lot of you guys doing your 1983s in federal court and this and that, and you're putting on there, oh, I'm going after them, and I'm going after their personal capacity, and this, you done screwed up, and they're going to kick it out.
Yeah.
Why? Because you can only deal with the state and the state actors in a 1983 in their official capacity. Where do you take and get them in their personal capacity or individual capacity? In other words, not only that, they should have known as an individual or as a citizen. That's called the court of claims, ladies and gentlemen. You're filing in the wrong court. This is why a lot of you guys have come, I tried my 1983. I went there. Did you keep it about constitutional issues? Did you connect the dots about how they did in their official capacity and what they did to violate the rights? No, you screwed up. That's why your case got kicked.
So just to be
That's
clear,
why
Gunner, when we are doing, what is the court exactly we're supposed to be in on this level?
Well, if you're in your case has been, if you're still in family court and this, that, you still have the abilities of the higher courts,
Yep.
including the federal court. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be in there. You can go in if you have a question. For example, you go under questions. You can file under Civil Rights Act under that, and you have a constitutional question. Does the state have the capability of doing this, and that? And you're going to just ask the question. Not that there's any money involved or you're trying to sue somebody. The idea is that you turn around and do this. Now, when you go through what I'm talking about, where the judges issued court orders and nobody's done this and that to answer hidden secrets, yes, that is called RICO. 2 or more people either acting or unknowingly not acting at all to commit a crime.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Attorneys are supposed to know that that's part of their ethics.
Yeah.
Now, even if you slap them with anything, an ethics violation is a huge blow to their profile, because then people don't want to deal with them. Why? Because they have a lot of ethics, and that's where they end up. You end up running them out there just like anybody else. You run them out of business. They've got 50 fucking ethics violations, but you got to know the system. You got to know where to file, how to file, and this and that, and you file those other things on there.
Yeah.
And like I said, you get into specifics. It turns around. Every case is going to be different. You've got to figure out what works for you, what applies to you, what doesn't apply to you. Obviously, if a judge has never put that order in there, you can't really use it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But they could use it another way,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the whole thing is we have to learn our processes. We have to learn the right courts. And that's part of, as we go through this, we educate people as we're doing it.
Yes.
This works, but this does not.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you have to I learn from so many people, and I pay attention. I stay open. I learn from everybody else, but I still, how does this apply to me? Where does this apply to me?
Yes.
And how does this fit for me? A lot of people mess up because they're going and doing what everybody else tells them to do. No, you can listen, you can take notes, you can chime in, you can observe, but you have to apply it to your own specific situation. It has to be so specific it ain't even funny. And also keep it simple, constitutional, end of
Well,
story.
and here's the other thing. When you go in, you're going to go down this road too. Make sure you quote even your own state's constitution that they must follow the constitutional rights, because in every state's constitution, there is a disclaimer, if you will, that they must follow the Constitution. And you quote, it's in your own state's Constitution, and you quote it. Now, if you're in a state court versus a federal court, you can use some of the case law and you can use that part. Yes, you must follow those things and this and that. But the biggest thing you're going to find, yes, they violated a code like 42 dot blah, 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 subsection, this and that code. Okay. It's real easy. And if you want, some of the AIs can help you with it too, but do your own research and look at it. And once again, it's a tool to guide.
Right. Get a learning plan. Ask your AI questions. Upload. You know what? I have a file folder from Gunner's stuff. The things that Gunner posts and people post talking about their cases, or when he makes statuses giving us news and stuff, I screenshot that. I put it in a specific album and I put it into my AI and I say, explain this to me. How can this relate to what happened to me? And do your research.
Yeah. Now, find that code. If you've got a code, a U.S. code, or that case law deals with a code that was brought, federal code, because you're in federal court, and a lot of you guys will do that. What is the state code equivalent? You follow me? The code or statute.
Yep.
That's what you file in your state courts, is the things that we've learned. You got to keep the state about the state, the federal about the federal. That's just like going to your state attorney general's office and you go, well, they broke my constitutional rights and blah, 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 blah. And they're going to tell you, I'm sorry, I can't help you, nor can we investigate a crime, because everything you've just said to me is a federal matter.
Yep.
Okay, well, break it down to where actually within your own code, yes, those are federal, but it also mimics this state code and that state code and that state. And then you list it that way. Now you have your state's attention. Why? Because that's how they operate.
You speak in their language. You got to speak in language that they understand.
This is what's known as legalese.
Yes. Yes, Gunner. Legalese.
This is how we break down, and you guys understand what legalese is. Talk in their dialect and language. A state, you come in with a bunch of federal stuff, that's one place they're going to tell you, we don't have jurisdiction. But when you break it down, yeah, but you broke this state code and this state code and this state code, and it violated your constitution, your state constitution, here, here, and here, to tie all these together. This is why when you go after criminal charges, what we're coming to find out, you file with your state attorney general and then over in the federal, but you have to decipher between the two, because if you do nothing but federal shit over here in your state shit, they're going to look at you and blow you off. When you start citing the codes and how they broke that code, now you've got their attention. Welcome to Legalese 101.
Yep.
This is not that hard. It's used, like I always told all my guys working as yes, I'm a master electrician, multiple certifications, this and that. When we trained a lot of guys and people that trained under me, I'd always tell them the same thing, even from a greenhorn. Use the KISS method.
Yes, now, keep it simple, sweetheart.
Well, that's the nice version, but yes. And this is what I've told everybody going forward networking, and including Amy. Don't overthink this. It's not that hard, and it's simple. And they want to confuse you because you got to have a lawyer to understand all this stuff. That's for indigent, ignorant people that are not able to do rational and deductive thinking. That's where you use this. Let's see what we got here. And Amy, question I emailed my ex-appointed attorney to release my records and everything. He has in my case. He responded saying, since he is no longer representing me, he can't do that. No, you'll have to file with the state attorney general's office. You have a right to all of your documents, even with a previous attorney.
This just happened to me. The juvenile office, I emailed the courthouse who has my records, because obviously we feel we need our records to prove our case. And the same juvenile officer who violated my rights, took me from my mom and took my kids, she emailed me back herself, you don't have the right to have these records. I didn't even respond. That right there is another violation. I printed it. I'm going to save it for when the time is right. That is a hurdle we gotta work through.
And you guys have got to turn around. Once again, that's a criminal act. That's under records. You have a right to all records involving your name.
Yep.
And here's the other thing. Well, it protects your children, this and that. Unless you've TPR'd me, I still have every single right as a parent.
You still have the rights up until that TPR. You still have the right to those records up until
Absolutely.
that TPR.
Now, of course, they're going to give you the line, but once again, are you really taking and having those conversations with the right people? No, you're not. You're talking to a bottom feeder, soul sucker, child kidnapper.
Yes.
Why would they take and give you something that could get them in deep shit or trouble? They're used to lying.
Yeah, but go
They're
ahead and
used to
ask them for the
perjury.
records. Go ahead and file the chain of command, because when
Catch
they
'em.
deny you those, you got that record too, and there's another violation.
And the big one. Eventually, I believe we're going to work on this. I believe Henry's going to join us, I believe, next week. And we're going to share with you guys next week the ADA violation we filed. Now, if you'll remember a couple shows ago, we talked about lighting manipulation. Now, courtrooms, for example, one courtroom to where the judge was extremely elevated, all the light was on the judge, and the lights in the courtroom, the rest of the courtroom, were dimmed to where you couldn't even, you had difficulty reading your documents where you were sitting or this or that. That is called lighting manipulation. Now, Walmart uses this, Kroger, all the big name companies, Target, everything else.
The schools,
And this is
the schools,
everybody. They will use lighting manipulation because it's a psychological tool. I have certification in this. I'm one of the first 5 people in the entire nation to ever be certified in all high efficiency lighting, including LED, EHID, so on and so forth. I have my credentials to speak with this from authority.
Yeah.
This is used. This is why Walmart went in and has a whole lighting panel and everything else. And so does Old Navy and some of the rest of them, this and that. The products that are in the main aisle, and watch it during Christmas and look up because you're going to see it. The lights never go off and are never dimmed in the areas of the main aisles and on the end caps because they pay extra money. Companies pay extra money for advertising to put their products on display on the end cap to bring more attention. Why? Because things that are perceived within the natural eye that mimic natural sunlight is easier to process the brain, and it draws our attention towards light. Once again, we're constantly, knowingly and subconsciously and unconsciously, seeking things that are better lit. This was the drive behind everything. This is why a lot of people that had trouble seeing, if you're older like I am, went from a 60-watt bulb to a 100-watt bulb. Why? I can see better.
Yeah.
Now, you don't believe that manipulation's even more? Try a diamond store. Go look into their cabinets where all the diamonds and the watches and all the fancy, expensive and everything else is. Watch how much they all sparkle. You kind of look up at the lights, tilt your head a little bit next time y'all are in there. Look how blue those lights are. That's on a different scale. That's called the Kelvin temperature, is how the lighting is done. And the Kelvin temperature moves it towards blue because it makes diamonds sparkle. But as soon as you take them out, oh, it looks pretty, but it doesn't look as pretty as it did in the display case, does it, ladies?
Nope, it doesn't. Not at all.
That's called manipulation of, once again, sales, and it's legal to do. It's 100% legal. There are no laws on lighting manipulation whatsoever in our country. It is a form of advertising, is the way they get it. If you don't believe me, go look at a sign going down the highway versus just something that's posted up that's just a placard like the old-fashioned way. Now, go look at the digital boards now that are interactive and move and do this and do that and have little cartoons on there. Which one gets more of your attention? Real estate people use it a lot.
Yeah.
When you're selling a house, if you have a good realtor, you know what they'll tell you? They'll tell you what rooms to change your bulbs in and everything else to bring out more light in your kitchen. You realize, as a master electrician, what are the 2 rooms you want the most light in, Amy?
What, your kitchen, your living room, your bathroom?
Your kitchen. Oh, you got them right there. Not your living room.
Your
That's a
bathroom.
comfortable spot. Your bathroom, because of sanitary, cleaning yourself and ladies with your makeup.
Yes.
We want to mimic that sunlight. There's a science behind this, and where our food is.
Mhm.
You want to have the brightest light, usually daylight. It's fine. Usually, a lot of people put daylight or something like that in, and their kitchens are real bright, their bathrooms are real bright. You want this. This is why, because there's a psychological, but also you can see better. You sure want to see better when you're cooking your food on whether or not there's mold on it or something else, or it's gone bad and it's beyond the smell. It's beyond, you have to focus on the sight. But no, you don't want a bright light sitting there watching TV because you're over there. Look at the glare. Hey, let's bring the lights down. We want that movie theater thing. The only light that's coming through is what? The television. This is all a science. And the courts found out about this. And as soon as they did, and the ADA was filed, and it's put on record in the Kentucky case, you know what they did? Went back again for a bullshit hearing or this and that. And you know what they did? They turned all the lights up. They knew exactly what the fuck they were doing.
Absolutely.
They got called out as that being a manipulation tool of the court, but also messing with people's disability. They were causing a disability of loss of sight.
Yeah.
They're going to now get caught in federal court over this of lighting manipulation, and we may see something filed, and we may take and actually see a law or something coming out of this of light manipulation in the courtroom, because it happens. Because now it's creating a disability where there was no disability. Boom, the lights were all of a sudden the lights are really bright. Boy, I wonder why. Because why? No ADA was given for anything with hearing. Hey, it's hard or difficult for me to hear it. I was never evaluated. Even the state come around to where, like I said, even if you went to the state capitol and turn around and go, well, now we're going to defer you to the state capitol. No, 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 no. We are going to catch the state of Kentucky in whistleblower status, especially because they don't have a and they are getting federal funds for this, guys. This is fraud upon the federal government by the state 100%. Under ADA, because they're supposed to have a compliance officer and evaluation and all these other people here in your local county courtroom. So next week I'm going to talk to Henry, and I believe from his show. And once again, I blank out. I don't know why every time I'm poor Henry's show. Equal and the same. There it is. Caught it. And get him on here and turn around, and we're going to talk about this because we actually filed and created a very specific thing that showed over, and I believe he said that we went through it. There's 9 ADA violations just in one filing. That means, here's the other thing. That also gives you the ability to remove the case. If they won't do it or address it or anything else, you can then move your case, even family court, under the ADA into federal jurisdiction because of ADA.
And the case has to be open or no?
Open, yeah.
So like right now, my family court case that's going on, that could work for that.
You could file for an ADA violation. And you turn around and ask them, who's your compliance officer? And you just ask, and here's the other thing, go to your court clerk. Go into your court clerk and say, hey, who's the compliance officer, or who's the person I got to see for ADA? And as soon as they send you to the Capitol, they just committed fraud.
Okay. Because
they are receiving ADA funds to make sure every courtroom across their state is ADA. And this was done by Congress, people. This was not a judgment or anything else. This is congressional law.
When is the show with Henry?
Henry has a show. It's usually every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, equal and the same. I'm going to talk to Henry. I believe we're going to get him on next week because I really want this thing we put together was huge. And some of it was stuff that Henry compiled, but we made it specific for the particular state. But we formed it in a certain way to where it was almost like a motion or a court or this and that. And as soon as they had it and everything else, and here's the thing, it's on the record. That's the biggest thing. I was not given ADA. That also means from the thing, as soon as you get the final, I was given no ADA compliance by the court, not once. That's an automatic appeal and turnover of your case. No ADA was given. Where's your compliance officer? And the state will say, I was, and she had, and here's the other thing, go in recording to your clerk.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your compliance officer? Get them on the record. They don't have one. You realize that's a violation of the ADA.
Yeah. Because they're
And
receiving
if that
funding
means that,
for it.
guys, listen, that means every case out of that courthouse, both, listen to me, civilly, family court is civil, and criminal, is now in violation, which means every case must be overturned under the ADA because it's a due process violation to manipulate for not accommodating your disabilities. And it has to be perceived or not perceived. In other words, as Henry would say, I don't have to report it. You have to make sure it's already there. You have to have them approach you. Hey, if you need this, here's our compliance officer. If you need anything before we have court, we would need to make sure we have to accommodate you so it's fair.
Yeah.
Once again, a fair hearing. If it's not given to you, bam. If your case is closed, you can still cite ADA. And here's the thing. It's under what? New evidence and everything. Hey, my case is 5 years old. How can I take an appeal? Because it's new evidence. The ADA comes in. Was it there? Yes. They were supposed to be compliant once the law passed and there was a window for them to adapt. States are collecting this money under ADA, under fraud. They're just taking the money. And it's millions of dollars. It's not a small amount.
Yeah.
Well, we have headphones out there.
No.
You should have checked with me, somebody from the court. It is the obligation under the ADA that the court must take and comply to give you or offer you services, whether they perceive them, see them, or not. Why? And here's why. I have heart failure. I have a pacemaker defibrillator. I have other medical issues that go with this. I have a disability, but you cannot see it.
Yeah. Well, I know for some of us, especially for, I think it was Barb or somebody, hey, they could tell I was not fit to be in that courtroom by myself.
Yeah.
And they just railroaded me. That's not okay.
There's a lot of things. And get with guys, watch Henry's show, especially Equal and the Same on Saturdays. He covers a lot of things, and especially those topics of what you can see and what you can't see, how you can or how you can't. But once again, you're supposed to go into the courtroom. Even family courtroom is still considered equal and fair.
Yeah.
But when you have judges, like we've said before, the thing that'll get them in big trouble, you gave me a court order that violated my constitutional rights. Here's the thing. It's not under argument anymore. Okay. Yeah. You documented it, Your Honor. You put it on the record with your order. You feel what I'm saying? Now you've got them because now it's not hearsay. Can I get a copy of that order?
Yeah.
That you demanded this, and that, or you've got it on the record? Please, yes. It's about hard evidence, guys. It's what you can put on the record. And as soon as you get that, you can go to the court clerk. Can I get a copy of that most recent order the judge put out? Or I can record it. Or it's on the court record of this and that. Because then they can tamper with stuff. If it's gone, that's tampering with evidence. That's another charge. They said it.
Yeah.
They demanded that I turn this over, this and that. Your Honor, so long as you articulate. Those are in my home. And under the Fourth Amendment, I have a right from illegal seizure without a warrant. A court order is not a warrant. Court order is not a warrant. A warrant is very, very, very specific on what you must meet the criteria. And there are Article 4 judges that are illegally and unconstitutionally issuing warrants or court orders. It's illegal as shit.
Yeah.
And this is why they hate us so much, because we just blew the whistle on that for you guys. Do you realize how powerful that alone is? Yeah. Well, they said I needed to give court records. I needed to give their birth certificates. I needed to give their social security numbers. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to turn over documents that I had secured. Judge, you don't have the power.
Yeah.
You realize you just violated my constitutional rights from the bench?
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that, nor do you have the power or let's use the instead of power, you don't have the jurisdiction to do it. Really? I don't have the jurisdiction. I'll tell you what I have the power. Sure, Your Honor. Can you please take and put on the record what article judge you are? Well,
Yes.
I'm an Article 4. This is that. You realize to do a warrant has to come from an Article 3 judge, to where Congress itself has delegated power to a state court to do such as criminal courts,
Mm-hmm.
and must meet probable cause. What probable cause do you have other than the fact that another state agency? That's bias.
Mm-hmm.
Now you start calling out and throwing out words. Now you start exposing the corruption of how these judges and magistrates are not giving fair and equal treatment, because the judge or magistrate is required by their oath to protect the rights of everyone in the courtroom,
Yeah.
not a policy or procedure. And when you turn around, well, you're guess I'm gonna piss you off today. Looks like you just violated your oath and abuse of power, and you don't have jurisdiction to order those things. And they're going to go off of this, that. Really, Your Honor? Because
Yeah.
those papers you're demanding in your court order are secured at my home.
Yeah.
And that's a Fourth Amendment right. And that case law, you can pull federal case law out your butt for a mile long on Fourth Amendment, guys. It's very, 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 very well protected. Now, you guys need case law on a couple of things. I'm going to give you a couple. Got your pen and paper?
Yep.
A warrant being mandatory, and it involves a case with CPS workers to enter your home, gain access to your children in the home, enter the home and all. I got a court order. Where's your warrant? It's inside the home. And no, I'm not bringing them out. I am secured. Even for the officers. Are you trying to you realize right now when they come knock the door, well, we need to come in and look at your house or this, and that. You got a warrant? No, but I got a court order. Okay. You realize that court order, they don't have a right to issue anything inside the home unless they're Article 3, right? You start spitting that and recording it.
Mm-hmm.
Case law. White versus Pierce County. Case out of 1986. Said that a warrant is mandatory for CPS workers or any government official to enter your home. Anything else is considered coercion or intimidation to enter. It's a criminal act. From there, you can say, fruit from a poisonous tree, Your Honor, they violated. I've got them on tape. Now they're going to take and blow past it. Great, we'll have that conversation over here, but at the same time, you can use it in your appeal, because they still have to acknowledge whether or not how they obtain the evidence or anything else from there is legal or illegal. These are Fourth Amendment, and these apply to CPS workers. Number 2, asking questions on private property, including, if you guys remember the Fourth Amendment stuff we covered, curtilage. Now, curtilage is the distance around your home. Okay, so many feet off of. Do you realize they're only allowed 6-foot easement, and you'll have to look at the easement per your state. Mm-hmm. There is an easement off the road to come in, even for apartment complexes. It's off. That parking lot there is private.
Yeah.
It is not to the public. It is for what? People that take and live in the complex, or guests or visitors. They're not a guest or visitor. Your thing, the questioning, any questioning that happens has to take and go through here. Hospitals. Yes, the Fourth Amendment does cover your hospital room because you are residing there, or you are setting up. It is a place where you are secured and staying. Even with babies, you cannot. You can sue the shit out of hospitals for that. Matter of fact, we broke a story too about a potential medical kidnapping because of a drug test that was administered illegally, search and seizure, that came back as dirty. And here's your other right that you have. If you guys are getting dirty tests and everything else, you ask for a second fucking test.
Yeah.
by a different manufacturer. You have
Or an alternate means. A mom that I'm helping right now, they are saying her hair follicles are dirty. They were going to terminate her rights the other day. I locked and loaded her, helped her figure out how to help herself. Like, let's do a different form of testing. I want this validated. And now they're trying to tell, well, we just want one more hair follicle. No.
No, that's illegal. And once again, the first one you demanded, where's your probable cause?
Mm-hmm.
You can't go on, well, we think. That's not probable cause. That is a Fourth Amendment. And this is what I'm trying to get to people, especially with these drug tests, and go, well, this and that. Because the hospital has contracted with the state as being a this is where you use mandatory reporters against them. Mm-hmm. Your contract with the state to be a mandatory reporter does not allow you to violate the rights of the individual. The courts have stood on this. Mm-hmm. They can get into, so now they're caught in a catch-22. Well, the state has said, yeah, but the Constitution, there's a supremacy clause. Mm-hmm. You can't, no matter what contract you've made, once again, that contract I've made with you is for medical care only. Why did you use it? Was there a reason? Was there some other thing or probable cause for you to run that particular test? Listen, cops have gotten in trouble for bringing people in and demanding they do a thing. And people say, I will not do a blood test. I will not do hair follicle. I refuse to say, search and seizure. Even mandatory reporters go, I can't violate their rights regardless of what the contract. These are good people. I will not violate somebody's rights. That's the personal part we're talking about in the Court of Claims. You should have known better.
Yeah.
Because you don't want the same thing to happen to you, do you?
No, they
I
don't.
sure as hell don't want somebody to come in. If I come in for medical treatment and you go through this and that, once again, have you taken an intake whatsoever? There's the other thing. Have you taken an intake into my diet?
Yeah.
Did you know, here's the thing. Did you know you can pop positive by drinking a Monster drink?
Yes.
Did you know you can take and pop positive off of other drinks?
A mom, she gave birth to twins, and because of her inhaler, they took her babies.
Medically done. Do you know what these medicines, and are there anything within our medicines to show that would prop up? Do you have an isolated test showing these things? You can compel the hospital. Have you vetted the testing parameters and methods? Because once again, this is, if you guys have ever watched some of the one of the shows that I actually used to love growing up was House. Mm-hmm. Why? We have to get to the root of it. And how many times did they go, nope, that was caused by this or that, or the root of something when they figured out the problem was something stupid.
Yeah.
Do you realize you can have poppy seeds on a bagel and you're going to pop for heroin?
Yeah.
They've proven this stuff. Does your testing methods rule out what I have consumed in my diet if I tell you I've had that?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Run the test. Do an isolated test. You can challenge them to do it. Methamphetamines.
Yep.
Here's the other thing. My son has what's called Graves' disease. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Graves' disease. That deals with your thyroid. My son is on a medication called I forgot what they call it, methylprednisolone or something. Yeah. It's basically a form of microdosing meth. Will he test positive for meth? Yeah. But he's taking it for a medical condition for his thyroid that saves his life because of Graves' disease. This is where they use pharmaceutical medicines against you. Now, you can do herbal medicines or home remedies and this and that. Do your research. Provide the evidence, case studies, this and this and that. You have to challenge their authority with these things, but you got to know where to challenge their authorities on them, where to turn around and go after them. And we're learning as we go, and not everybody sees these shows. And this is what I hate, that we wish that we had, and I get a lot of people watch our show afterwards, but I really wish that a lot of our viewers and such like that, we would have hundreds, if not thousands, of people paying attention, because this is pivotal information. Forget your movements, forget your other bullshit, this and that. And this is why. If you don't have the education to know something was done wrong against you, how are you going to fight in the damn first place? Mm-hmm. And we give so much information on this platform and this show that turns around. And Amy will tell you firsthand, how much information do I share?
A lot, a lot.
It's a lot to consume too. I go fast.
It is.
But once again, what applies to you, what doesn't? You got to run that filter through it.
Yep.
But going back to that other one, questioning or seizing, Fourth Amendment violation of seizure, when they question you on your private property. Remember, we went through the curtilage and everything else, and then they had to be, in other words, they're supposed to knock and retreat. They can't stand at the door. They have to move back into the curtilage. They're allowed a one knock thing unless you have them trespassed or you post. You can't. They have to retreat back to there. They can't peek in your windows. They can't do any of that shit. That is a violation of the Fourth Amendment under curtilage.
Yeah.
But questioning somebody while you're standing on your land or in your house has already been ruled. Case law, Doe et al. It's Doe like a deer.
Yeah.
Versus Heck, Heck et al. And this is in the Lexis, in the U.S. Appellate Lexis. It's such established case law. And you guys can find it. Questioning someone on private property.
I'll be back.
Oh, that's fine. Well, we can cut it. That's fine. We're good. Questioning someone on private property, police officers or anything else, it's a form of seizure under the Fourth Amendment. So when the cop comes out, hey, I'd like to ask you a few questions, or the caseworker, well, we got a report and I'd like to this, that. As soon as they put anything in the form of a question, that caseworker just violated your constitutional rights. Well, we need to see the children. We've had a case of this. Do you have this? Are the children here? Whoop, red flag. You just asked me a question. Are the children here? Can I see them? You just violated. You're going right there. Matter of fact, if you want to, under 18 USC 1201, I can place you under citizen's arrest. You just committed a crime right in front of me. And when there's cops standing there, you gonna do your fucking job or take them into custody?
Yeah.
Here's the case law. She just violated the Fourth Amendment right. That's a state employee or subcontractor. Arrest her. If you don't, here's where you challenge those sheriff's officers. If you refuse to arrest her and charge her with such as you have witnessed, you just violated your oath there, big boy, big girl, Mr. Cop Duty Belt, because I gave you the case law.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to this and that. I gave you case law. Look it up. It specifically says that. As soon as she asked me the first question, even if it's, how are you doing today? That's a question.
Yeah, because they're trying to bait you. So they can.
You can't.
Yeah.
The Constitution and the federal courts, and like we said, the case law on Fourth Amendment is so strong. You're a public servant or actor. You should know this doing your job. Start challenging them and start recording. You realize I've got this on tape, you committing a felony, right?
Yep.
You realize now all I have to do is press criminal charges against you in a federal court and you go to jail. You realize you can't continue with anything else because now you've asked me a question or you're on my property and trying to get into my house without a warrant. You've just committed another felony, and you articulate that and you record it and go, now you continue with this and you try to file a case or you do anything else, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to file on you in federal court and I'm going to press criminal charges against you. Matter of fact, I'm going to press criminal charges on you regardless. You just violated my rights. Now what? Fruit from a poisonous tree doctrine automatically goes into effect. Even under your statutes and codes, you cannot. And I just articulated, I just gave it to you. If you don't believe me, go take that to the Attorney General of your state and ask the questions before you come out and let them know I'm coming down to file criminal charges against you. When we know the law and we know the law and we know how to fight, we can hold them accountable. When your state's attorney's office does nothing, this and that, You warn them. You realize if you don't pursue these criminal actions, that it's also being reported here, and there's a federal investigation. You are now complicit, and that becomes a RICO case, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, did I just say RICO? I guess I'm going to piss everybody off today. Yeah, that makes the state attorney general complicit in a crime and a federal one. All of a sudden, when you can articulate these things, they hate knowing that you know.
Yep. Because that's the biggest thing they use against us is our ignorance.
Exactly. So when you're judged now, I know you got a judge or a magistrate. Well, they don't listen to me. Fine. File. Put it on the record. Don't show up. Well, I've got. Get to the court clerk. File it.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the next step. Find out what it is for your state. Find out what ways in this and that you can appeal. One, jurisdiction. As soon as a judge gave a court order that's out of her jurisdiction and violated constitutional rights, as soon as the appellate court, understand the appellate court is, a lot of people call the appellate court the miniature federal court, because they don't see nobody. It's supposed to be blind. There's no buddy system. It goes to your state capital, and then a board or a commission if it's really bad. Oh yeah, we found that one out. Why? Because one of the complaints we put in, I had to kind of bypass that whole board thing and went straight to the head of the commission. Whoops. You're in deep shit then.
Absolutely.
When you go to the head and you go to the commission to where this is to where the board goes, I ain't touching this.
Yeah.
This is going to go to the head of the commission, that your complaints hold so much weight that it goes to the top. They're going to have to look at why, because they already know I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole, because if I rule on this, I can get into a lot. This is called passing the buck. Well, eventually it stops somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because eventually they run out of people to blame. But remember the old saying, Amy, I'm sure you've heard this one. Shit rolls downhill.
Yeah. Yes. I think my dad used to say that.
When you get to the top and the top realizes what its underlings and what its minions have been doing, that has now been brought to their attention and can get them in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to roll downhill fast.
Yep.
What the hell are you doing? And I say this because we spoke to some people through here, and we're getting ready to do some filings. We actually went, as part of our case, we went to one of the state's attorney general's office and spoke to the lead head investigator for the entire department, told him what was going on, and articulated it in such a way, I can't do anything without your filings. In other words, get this into me, articulate it the best you can. Understand, we cannot deal with federal crimes. Thank you for clarifying that. Nope, we're going to file in the federal court too. Oh, you're going to the federal court with the federal crimes. Oh, absolutely. It's going to Bondi. It's going straight to the attorney general's office, and it's going to be documented, not a phone call, liberal, hard paperwork with names,
Mm-hmm.
the codes, how they violated the codes, what they did, and you bam, 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 bam. And you can even have it just like the structure of, what you do in a motion or anything else. You can keep that structure. Why? Because now you're speaking, once again, we're breaking through that barrier for you guys for legalese. Speak like cops do. Because what happens when they get information from, say, the attorney general's office, or there's a complaint brought to them? Why? And this is why you go to them and not your local. Start at the top, because then the top knows what's going on. They will decide whether or not to assign somebody locally, or it's so corrupt, like in our case, we went to the district attorney and they buried it. Now the case is being overturned. We're going to file the criminal charges in our state and go, you can't use the local DA. We're going to need special, because both the local district attorney and the sheriff's office and the local PD all buried all of this case. Would not take even a report. That is a criminal act and it's a violation. And when you talk about it coming in, this will also, oh yeah, did I happen to mention the state can investigate itself? So they're going to call in there now. They've got some loopholes on it. Where in my state we have something called TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. It is not a form of the FBI. It's a state's version of in between investigation for the U.S. Attorney General's office. It's a little bit higher. States are structured different. Find your own state. Not every state has got a Bureau of Investigation, if you will, because it used to fall upon, usually when it went from there, it went to the state police. They amended it. It went on, so on and so forth. But they investigate up to a certain point of the state crimes, and they build the case, TBI does, and you'll see them come in when you have issues like officer-involved shootings, officer-involved accidents. A state police has to come out and take the report. The local police cannot do it. It has to be by the state.
Yep.
There are rules, and you have got to find the rules and procedures to know how to proceed.
Yep.
Now, we have talked with somebody else about MOUs and some of those other things. I don't know if Becca's in here. She found she was one of the ones that works with the group that discovered the MOUs, which shows the coordination they do behind the scenes to where they all talk to each other, and they're not supposed to. They're supposed to be independent. But once again, when you get into something serious, then the TBI, for example, will go, we can't. And they will get to the point, even with your own, or your state police will, or whatever it may be, depending on the structure of state, we must now come in, we must now call in the feds. Now, one thing that will definitely trigger the feds, guys, listen, is when you talk about multi-state participation and crossing state lines. But you have to articulate that the state of origin, like in our case, Tennessee, cross state lines, giving information to Kentucky to do something on behalf of Tennessee where they have no jurisdiction. And once again, it's a damn mess. But once again, we're going to document it, and we're taking it. It's already on the federal record. It's already on our filings. You're going to get messed up. And I know you guys, like I said, love this stuff. You love the education and everything else that's going on. But listen, you got to learn along the way. And the same things that I learned specific in my case are going to be different. Once again, this is just my case. And yes, we're actually going to do that. All these other movements, everything else, we have called what we do here the reckoning. A reckoning is what it's called.
Yeah.
It's a tip of the spear case. We the people, it's our own individual case, but it will affect all of you.
Yeah,
Even if
we can attach to it. We can learn from it. We can attach to it. We're referenced in it. If you sent in an affidavit, you're in it, you know?
And here's how this works. Even though it will become case law, federal case law in our district once we win our case.
Yeah.
When they appeal it, which they will, and it's kicked back and they don't appeal it, then it becomes federal case law, national case law.
Yep.
But guys, when I tell you we have a real shot, everybody says this, that this is within the court. Once we get into the courtroom, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be exposed in the courtroom. You can't put on paper. You can't this, and that, but it will tear down CPS nationwide. I have talked to several people. I am right on the top of it when certain things. And once again, it's so stupid. You missed it. Like I said, see just the show we did tonight, Amy. I mean, most people, how many people would think of what I just said to get a judge removed, let alone call them out on their oath and everything else over something that's stupid? They go, well, the judge told me I should have done it.
Yeah.
You missed something.
Yeah.
They didn't have the power.
Right.
So, well, Amy, I want to thank you for being on this week, guys.
I'm so happy. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Such a nice chat.
And I believe a couple other shows are wanting to have you on too through the platform.
Yep, Wednesday night I'm going on with Tiff and Punisher.
Okay.
Yep,
Awesome.
we'll talk about the group there, and I'm just so grateful for you to have me on here, man. I love it. Thank you. I love what you do. I'm so grateful.
Listen, I love the fact that you are one of the people that actually get part of what we do, and I have had a lot of people say, do this for me, or do this, instead of people going, I'm not going to wipe your ass. Your
Yeah.
kids are that damn important for you, and that important. You're going to put in this work.
Yeah,
You're
I
going to
don't have
learn.
all the answers. I can't help you. You have to help me help you, you know?
Help you help yourself.
Yep.
I once again, because your case is different from mine.
Yeah.
I can't do the specifics of this and that. I'm not going to do that. Once again, everything that we offer. That's the other thing with our movement here at the Reckoning. Um, I've never charged anything.
Hmm.
I've never sold a. Listen, you want to do something for the show or the platform or this and that? Go to. Um, I think at the close of the show, you'll see it at CPS. Um, breakingnews.com.
Yeah.
It's a website for the platform for all of us.
Yeah.
There's swag in there. You can get coffee cups, shirts, and this and that. I think ours um, is like really cool. I mean, let's see here. Let me type this in real quick. Ooh, I think it'll bring it up. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Shoot, I didn't open the right one. Let me see if I can do it this way. But show you guys. I think we've shown you before. There we go. And let me share a little bit of this, and let me get my screen share going. Sorry, I just kind of broke in here. Let's share this. Here is the website for the entire news platform. If you guys will see here, CPS Breaking News. There's the Angry Citizen. If you guys don't know that, a lot of our shows are getting there. We're updating this constantly as you go through here. If you guys have got kids in school, there's several things here. If you look, I'm scrolling down. This is the main page. I believe it's still on here. But there is a card and a few videos. This tells you a little bit about all of our different shows and platforms and so on and so forth. Some of the shows are, like I said, we're working on. They're coming back. Beauty and Ashes is working on coming back as soon as things are cleared, so on and so forth. And right here, the very bottom of the page, if you have kids, right here, this is your children's right. I am under 18. You need to make sure you guys get a copy of this. Copy, paste, download, whatever it is. Put it in their backpack. Give it to your teachers. Put it on your kid's file in the school. Sign it that you don't do this stuff through here. That I'm not doing this. I'm not consenting of all those things. Questioning all those other things. Answer questions. A parent is supposed to be called right away. You cannot, even for CPS, and go, if I find out, you tell them, if you violate these things with any government official, I will sue this school. And you're talking about their money. They're already, dying for money.
Yeah.
With anything else, it's here. Now look, click under gear. Now this is some of the swag. I'm just showing you guys some of the different things. I believe it's up. And look here, guys. Check this one out. Look at this here. Bam. Now this was not designed by me. Once again, it was designed by somebody else. Look at this shirt here. Bam. The Reckoning 2025. There we go. Boom. Look at that sleeve right here. The emblem, everything else. The designer of those things and everything else. Once again, they're killer stuff. Once again, I don't, when it comes down to it, I don't make a dime off of it. I don't make a thing. That goes to help support the fees for, like I said, the show here. We use Restream and some of the other platforms. That goes towards everybody. It's like a group fund to go through those things. Like I said, that swag, I think there's coffee cups in there too. Yeah. All sorts of other things you can go in. I think they can even go in there and pull from our design, and even I believe you can take and even design a few things yourself within certain parameters. But there's a lot of stuff in there, guys, and there's a lot of information. You don't want to miss out on it. Amy, once again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we're going to catch you on the flip side, and definitely check her out on Facebook under, I believe it's Amy Dawn Henry.
Yep, that's me.
Okay.
I'm working on a page. I'm starting my Rise Again Parents group for strong moms, strong dads, educating and empowering you guys. I'm working on that now, coming soon. But right now, Amy Dawn Henry on Facebook. That's me.
listen, even though I go so fast, this and that, Amy's like one of those people of going, here, this is what I've created. Let me show it to you. Why? Because I have too much time. And I love that. That's why we brought Amy on the show, because there's a lot of stuff she's done like that of saying, oh, I love that. And then I work for her. She goes, and then she'll share with everybody, guys, this is what I've come up with. And here's my format. And it's like, I don't have time for that because I have too many other things going on. Like I said, we were working on our appeal, we're working on our federal case, and I only have so much time within a day. This is why others, we work together as a network. We support each other throughout there. Amy, we'll look forward to seeing you on the Tip and Punisher on Wednesday.
Yep.
And go from there.
Yes.
We'll see
Have
you
a
next
great
time
night,
there.
you guys. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We'll see you then.
All right. Bye.
Okay, guys, that's kind of like what we have going on this week. I hope you guys have learned a lot. You guys have taken a whole lot of notes here. I know we've covered a lot. If you cannot, or the show went too fast, hey, that's live. Oh, he goes so fast. Yes, I do. Guys, check us out on the YouTube page, Gunning for CPS. We're also on CPS Breaking News, the main network channel. It will take, give it a couple days, or a couple hours. It will take and save the videos there. Some of the videos too, you can rebroadcast if you go through the comments, because I know it does go through Facebook, but you can definitely, like I said, he's pretty wild, and there's a ton of information, but to turn around and start taking out judges and magistrates that are doing things beyond their power, let alone violating your rights, is an easy way to take out judges and magistrates for not following their oath. And it opens you up into the federal courts. These are things that you can file on because you can articulate it. Like I said, we went fast. We dealt with a lot of things. Tailor it down to your case and what's happened. You guys know your case better than anybody else. We love you guys. We love your support. Check us out again. Like I said, we're on every Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually pop in, and I pop in on a couple other shows, Tip and Punisher, or sometimes on Henry's show and a few others. But you guys don't want to take and miss what's going on. But this is huge news, guys. This affects almost everybody's case, because judges and magistrates have already, they put it on the record or made a motion or made a court order. Hey, you got to do this. Really? Wait, you don't have the authority. You don't have the power. Matter of fact, that's enough to expose you. And then start getting with people in your community, guys. Connecting with the people that have the same judges, the same this. Don't deal with that. Keep it in its perimeters. In other words, have boundaries, guys. Boundaries. That's very important. Help them out with their stuff and get, like.
Families, they shatter with the stroke of a pen. Truth buried deep. Oh, here we go again. Gunner's voice pounding, raising up the fight. Justice ain't a whisper. It's a battle tonight.
Sorry, guys, we've had a few technicals. It's not me. But yeah, keep that out there. They don't want you to know this, but like I said, guys, get together with your communities. Sorry for all the technical. It's not us. It's the platform. They don't want our news. They don't want you guys to have this information. Connect with people, network in your county, in your state, this and that. This is what they fear, is us coming together, having this knowledge, and then filing against them. Why? Because one complaint's one thing, but as soon as you start stacking that with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 against the same judges and against the same people, now you've messed with their livelihood, because then it's not just you. Remember, together we can stand together. And this is about we the people. This is why it's so important. We the people have the power. Show them we can come together, set aside our differences, and take control of our country and our courtrooms back. Thanks. We'll see you again next week, guys.
Corruption crawls, spreading like a fire. But passion
the whole thing down. I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's got to be biblical.
Gunner's voice pounding, raising up the fight. Justice ain't a whisper, it's a battle tonight. System cracks, red tape wins tight, but the spirit won't break, even in the night. From the ashes, the cry gonna rise up strong.